Hey, it's Leighton, LD, Leighton DaCosta photographer in San Diego, California. I got the downtown San Diego in the background, sitting over here at the University Club in downtown San Diego. Check them out, Invited Clubs. They're a great spot, great. We just finished a Coffee and Connections meeting this morning, and I said, let me take this time right now while I'm here to talk about, for lack of better words, talk about WPPI 2024, because we are officially about a month removed from that. And going off the cuff, just like my initial impressions about WPPI this year, compared to, and let me give a background of what I think about WPPI. So I've been attending WPPIs, whether through the road show or in Las Vegas, since 2008, 2009. I think 2009 is when they did the road show in Orlando, and that's what introduced me to WPPI. That's the Wedding Portrait Photographers International conference that is done every year in Vegas, usually in February/March, before the wedding season starts. And you know, there has been a couple of years, like after the worldwide pandemic, where they started it in August, which was probably one of my best years at WPPI, because that's where I won my GFX camera from Fuji USA. So, you know, hey, I have good memories from that as well. But I usually go to WPPI for a couple of things. One, I want to know what's going on in the industry, as far as whether it's print products, whether it's trends, whether it's marketing, what is going on, tools, editing, AI, gear, what's going on in the industry. And I tell photographers this all day long, that one of the best things that you could probably do for your career is to attend one of these conferences, one of these major conferences, whether it's, I've never been to Shutterfest, so I can't talk about Shutterfest, but Shutterfest is actually just concluded as I'm writing, or as I'm recording this right now. But whether it's PPA Imaging or WPPI conference, one of those where they have a major trade show attached to it, go through and actually sit there or walk through and see what's there, because you'll meet tons of vendors, and these vendors, for the most part, aren't really just trying to sell to you. They want to be business partners. They want you to excel so that they can excel and they can make money. That being said, that's the first thing. I want to see the trends. Two, I want education. I want knowledge. I want to, you know, learn the things that I don't know. And one of those things is usually going to be through the judging, the image judging and stuff like that. Or they'll have workshops or summits and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's nice to look at how other professionals look at, you know, somebody else's work, and they talk about the actual specifics, the details, not just aesthetics, but the impact of their work on print. And I think it keeps print important in the photography industry, especially in a world where most of our work a lot of times seems to be viewed digitally. But when you go around town, when you go around your areas, you still see a lot of work on billboards. Billboards are still a thing. You know, newspapers are still a thing. Magazines are still a thing. So I would still say that probably most photography that is viewed is actually viewed on media, not necessarily digitally. Even though a lot of photography now is captured digitally. I just think that mass-wise, that more people will see a billboard in JFK Airport as they walk through than they're going to see off of the average person's Instagram feed. That's just me. If you disagree with that, put that in the comments. That being said, you know, that's the second thing. I want to learn knowledge. The third thing is I want to network and meet other photographers, whether in my area, whether around the world, whether be inspired by their work, learn different business techniques, different business aspects, different business tools. And, you know, and I think then the last one, it's usually because it's Vegas, it's a time to relax, it's a time to not necessarily party, but to kind of learn how to unwind amongst your colleagues. And I think that's where a lot of trade show conferences it makes it different, because most photographers are their own employer. They own their own studios or whatnot. And it's not like when you go to a project management or a real estate or whatever type conference where you're going for an office, and if you get too drunk, then guess what? You may lose your job. I think it's one of those things to where, as long as you don't get thrown in jail, it was a successful WPPI. Now, I say all that because where do we go with this? If those are the reasons why I'm coming to WPPI, how did 2024 stack up? And I will say, there's a couple things, and I don't want to use the quote unquote poop sandwich analogy, but this is what we're going to do. What was good? This was probably Mandalay Bay was a long time ago, and I remember the Mandalay Bay, but I also remember MGM when we had 2 conference centers for the trade show. And this is probably the most energy that I've seen at a WPPI trade show, specifically the trade show, since MGM two convention centers, two convention centers for the floor. That tells me right there that this was good. And with that being said, there were a lot of people there. Sony was there, Nikon was there, Canon was there, even Lumix. Lumix had the S5 II, I think it's the S5 II. They had that out there. Like there was a lot that was there in WPPI this year. I did notice there were a couple people that's missing though. Remember I said that WPPI is designed to interact you with vendors who are trying to be your business partners. Well, one thing that I noticed that was not there at all, it blew my mind that they weren't there. Bay Photo wasn't there. Black River Imaging wasn't there. I think the only printers that I could say that were actually there, Miller's wasn't there. And Miller's is huge. Miller's, MPEX, they're huge. The only printers I think that were there were White House Custom Color, Graphy Studio, if you want to count them, and I put Graphy Studio in a weird Graphy and Xeno. I put the album companies. I put them in a weird category because they're album companies that do printing. Graphy has a good print side. I print with Graphy, so I know that, but I don't count them necessarily as a print shop, print house that you use for regular commercial. I consider them more of a fine art printer, right? If I'm bringing you something on Graphy paper, it's because you paid some money for that Graphy paper, that Graphy print. So, they're out of Italy and their stuff are just top notch, top tier. So yeah, I didn't see anybody but White House Custom Color. That's probably the only printer. I didn't see Pro Prints. I didn't see Bay Photo. Didn't see Miller's. Didn't see any of those guys who are usually there all the time. Every year they're there. I don't know what that says about the industry. I don't know what that says about WPPI. I don't know what that says about confidence. I just hope that moving forward next year, and we'll talk to that in a little bit, I just hope that moving forward next year that they do return. That being said, there was a lot of LED lighting. Surprised that, Godox was there, and they had the new little nano triggers and a couple other things. But DJI, which I'm recording on a DJI Osmo right now, DJI wasn't there when they were there last year, which I was kind of hoping to buy some stuff. Another thing too, a lot of the vendors, with the exception of the local vendors, did not have gear. In previous years, you could buy stuff from B&H or Adorama there at the show. With the exception of the vendors that are from, I think there's one that does a sun pack and stuff like that. I don't know what the names are, but they're from the Arizona area. And the ones that are from the Vegas area. With the exception of those, there weren't really too many vendors that actually had stuff that you can buy there as far as photo gear goes. Now, when it comes to bags, modifiers, all those other things, tons of vendors there. Geekoto, I think that's how it is. Geekoto, they had LED panels there. Tenba bags were there. They had the wings, backdrops. I like SMDV. I bought a couple SMDV modifiers. I even bought their new, and you'll see me do a video on it probably as I set up my studio. Totally different thing. But this is it's something like an eye ladder that sets up in less than 30 seconds. Literally, it sets up less than 15 seconds, because it's just like an umbrella. So It's one of those new things. As I record here, they're coming in, they're cleaning up. They may be kicking me out, I don't know, right? But, you know, it is what it is. But that being said, on that side of the trade show, it was kind of sparse. It was really, really kind of sparse. I wish that they actually had more people involved on that. Now, education-wise, I didn't go to, so they combined a couple things this year. They combined a Leighton and Wedding Summit, which was on Monday. They combined the Portrait Masters, which is normally like an $1,800 type, you know, workshop, and it was like only like $800, and you could probably get it, I think, at one point for $600 for the 2 days. And they combined the WPPI. I didn't like how they did that, me personally, because it, you know, one, you had to choose between, like, you couldn't do the Portrait Masters and one of the Wedding Summits, because the Portrait Masters was on Sunday and Monday, the Wedding and Light Summit was on Monday, and then the WPPI started on Monday and went all the way through the rest of the week. So Monday was kind of like a headache. You had to make choices. Decisions had to be made. It's like when you go to Costco and you see like grapes in the wine section, like decisions were made. That being said, what else was going on? I did do a couple of seminars. Shout out to Darrell Hosheng. Blows my mind right now, and I'll probably put her name in the comments. Amazing, amazing workshop. Oh gosh, or not workshop, seminar on doing video and incorporating video into your photography. And I want to say his name is Stephanie, but that's probably not what it is. But like I said, I will look at it and put it in. She gave a great presentation. That being said, a couple of the other presentations I did not care for, and I'm going to tell you why I didn't care for. The seminar platform speakers, right? The seminar speakers, they're supposed to just whet your appetite. I mean, and a lot of them now are going to this point to where they're using it as a sales funnel. They are going through the seminar, they're giving you a 45-minute intro to another course. It comes out like an infomercial. That's not good. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, if that's the case, give a course, give them the combo, give them the Whopper, the drink, and the fries, and call it a day. Tell them if they want to come back for more, if they want to get everything else. Yes, you funnel that to that, but don't put it in a way that you're selling something else. And I know there's some great big figures, big names that have done that for years, and they have earned their dues. I get it. But even, and I'm going to call him out because I like him, so this is the reason why I'm calling out. Even if I went to a Jerry Yonis seminar platform, that 45 to 90 minutes is probably the best free 45 to 90 minutes that you will ever have in a year. And oh, by the way, you can join my workshop that's going to be in Italy or LA or Vegas or whatever for $5,000 or whatever. But right now you're going to leave full. So I like that. But one of the biggest complaints I heard from other people was that you weren't leaving full and you really want me to buy more. And that kind of, I didn't care for that. So I do hope that changes. I am considering, if you're going to be part of if you're going to identify a problem, be part of the solution type thing. So I am considering actually doing a class. I'm going to submit a class for WPPI for business side, especially for business side for people who are full-time something else, not part-time photographers, just full-time something else. You got a 9 to 5 or whatever. Because the reality is this: there's a lot of photographers that's out there who are making pretty good money as lawyers or doctors or professionals or whatever, and they enjoy photography. There's a guy down in Jamaica, I know that he's a dentist, right? He's not going to give up his dental practice to go full-time and open up a studio until he retires from his dental practice. But I think he wants his studio to be profitable while he is there, right? So that's the other side of it, right? Now, that being said, I wish there was more. I was talking to some of the guys, in charge of WPPI, and they were saying that how business courses are really like vegetables, right? That we know that they're good for you, but not everybody wants to eat it. Not everybody wants to digest it. They say they want it on the menu, but they never order it. And that may be the case next year. I just wish that there were more business courses that were there, and especially starting up, because there's a lot of photographers that get caught up into the 6-figure, 7-figure mantra that don't understand for you to net the six figures how much you actually have to make. That you know, that you have to like, in order to net a $100,000 a year studio, is your studio generating revenues of 3, 4, 500 for 500 years, right? I'm gonna have to wrap up and move because they're about to play that Oscar music, but right before I do that, let me go hit this one real quick, and then I'll swap locations, and then we'll go into that. But like I said, the business side, the business courses, they're necessary. They're needed, and if you ask for them, WPPI, and especially on their Facebook group, if you ask for them, WPPI will make it more of a priority, okay? But for right now, I'm going to actually change locations. Hopefully I get another good backdrop. We're changing locations. Like I said, I'm at the University Club, and they just had an event, and they're probably getting ready for another event. So they're about to clean up the table. So they're asking me if I can go to another room, which I'm about to do, and we'll figure that out. Okay, so we're back. I still wanted to give you a little view of, the downtown San Diego. I think right now you're looking at Point Loma over there in the background, and I think that is the Hyatt Towers over there. I think those are the tallest hotels or whatever in San Diego. But just wanted to give you a good view of it. But like I was saying, on the business side, it's great if you can funnel in, work or new clients through the seminars. But that's, in my opinion, that's not what the seminars are for. The seminars are to educate and inspire. And that should be the focus, not to use it as a lead generator, because what ends up happening is that people leave those seminars, and then in the next year they don't want to come up because they don't feel like they got the value of actually going to the event. So so that was probably my bad taste on the knowledge education side. Well, let me correct that too. So the Icon Awards. Thank you, Jerry, for the Icon Awards, and continue that going on. I will participate this year coming into it, but I will say I do miss where the judging was pre WPPI, and the reason why I say that is that if somebody came in earlier, that they didn't have to sacrifice the knowledge that's in the judging to go to an event or a seminar or to another workshop. And I know that there have always been workshops, because I remember when we set the master courses and stuff like that. I know that there have always been workshops, but this year, I just wish that there was more of a focus or a time that was just for the Icon Award judging, without having it being involved in the judging for, or not even involved with the judging, but being interfering with everything that was going on the other side. So that's where I would go on that. Okay, so we talked about the trade show. We talked about the education. We talked about the Icon. Oh, so, and I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. This may sound like a complaint. It's an observation. So the photo walks this year, there was a lot of photo walks that was pushed and sold, and there was a lot of photo walks that got canceled and at the last moment and moved around and everything like that. The photo walks, I think, I think it left a bad taste in a lot of conference goers' mouth, because there's the disorganization of the photo walks. And I think with the photo walks, that could be done better next year. I don't know what else to say about that. Photo walks are nice, and I mean everybody had a photo walk. I mean, I did a photo walk with Keith Cephas and Stella Pro Lights, which I thought was amazing, because I have never been able to take one photo on a casino floor. And it's one of those things where we took someone on the casino floor, took someone during the in one of the restaurants, and it was a great photo walk with Stella. And so to me, I understand why those photo walks are necessary. I just think that when we get too heavy on one thing, especially when that photo bay alley that they had on the trade show floor, that thing was amazing. I love that. Keep that going. That is just a great, great thing that can only get better. So I like that. I do wish that the WPPI stage, going back to that when I saw about the photo alley, I do wish the WPPI stage was a little bit more front and center, because there was some great seminars and classes that were going on the WPPI stage, but there was like 3 people there. I don't think that they were really marketed and pushed. And thank you to the presenters and the speakers for actually still going there and setting up and giving their presentation, right? So that was really appreciated. Now, here's the elephant in the room. So like I said, the trade show was good. Everything was good. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say it's probably about a 7, 7.5. It wasn't as bad as what people said they thought it was going to be, and it was done a lot better than last year. So I'm like, it's going back into its full groove type thing. Oh, what made it suck though was the app. The app is trash. I don't know anything to say. I'm not an app developer, so I can't give you a suggestion on how to make it better. I just know that we've had apps in the past that were better and more useful. The app was trash. And bring back the old app. And nobody says that. Nobody ever says bring back the old thing. But this time, make the new thing better than the old thing because the current thing is not good. What else though? What else? So we talked about the app. We talked about the trip. Oh, so Bon Voyage Mirage. Man, I just made that up. That sounded actually pretty good. Bon Voyage Mirage. So next year we're not going to be at the Mirage. And every year, when we went from MGM to Mandalay Bay, people complained. When we went from Mandalay Bay to the Mirage, people complained. Now we're going to the Rio, I'm complaining. And the reason why I'm going to complain about the Rio is not because the Rio is trash, because the Rio is going through almost a $500 million renovation when it's all said and done. It's like 350 on one side, and they got some more money going on the other side. New restaurants, new things going on. They're trying to build a bridge to go. It won't be ready by the next year, but they're trying to build a bridge that goes from the Rio over to the Strip and everything else. I think people are complaining because the Rio is not on the Strip, and that's what makes it great, is that the Rio is not on the Strip. The rooms are supposed to be around $75 a night next year, including the resort fee. So when you think about that, I mean, they advertised like $93 rooms this year, but those $93 rooms were not including the resort fee, and then you turn around and you got $150 into it every night. So that makes it just that much more approachable. And you can get right now, as this recording, and I think until the end of April or mid-April, don't know sure, but you can go to WPPI right now and pre-buy next year's ticket. My just light standards just dropped down a little bit, but you can pre-buy next year's ticket at a great discounted rate. So between the ticket and the actual, the room, WPPI next year can be like less than $500, which is just stupid good, right? I think my what you call is dropping. I don't know what just happened. I think it's dropping though. But anyway, my light stand or whatever, because I got it on this little kind of quick thing. Hold on a second. And we're back. So but yeah, I think people are complaining about the Rio a little bit too premature. Now, the one worry that I do have about the Rio more than anything else is the security issues that have been going on with the Rio in the past year, right? Where people have been breaking into the people's rooms while people were asleep. That's something that you got to kind of take care of. And when you think that you're going to have photographers that are going to have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gear and all in one place, that makes them more of a target. Now, the other side about being at the Rio, and I believe the Rio still gives free parking and all this other stuff, and it's a Hyatt property and all that, is that you have lots of other options now when it comes to Airbnb or short-term rentals, or short-term rentals in the Vegas area, and you can drive, and it makes it a lot more affordable that way too as well, to where if you don't want to stay at a hotel, you can drive there, and because you're not on the Strip, it's a lot more approachable, accessible to be living off the Strip in an Airbnb or in a short-term rental and go to there. So that's kind of one of those things to where I think people need to look and consider, especially if you're doing a lot of shooting off Strip. If you're going to like the dry lake beds, if you're going to, the parks and stuff like that, and the rocks and stuff like that, that makes it a little bit more approachable. So there's that. Am I looking forward to next year's WPPI? I am. I actually want to see what this new Rio looks like. Is this going to be my last year going next year? I don't know. Is it going to be a new start, new generation? I don't know. We'll see. But all of those matter. All of those really do matter, and we'll find out eventually what we're up for. So this year's WPPI, like I said, it was good. There was a lot of things that were going there. I met a lot of vendors, a lot of potential vendors, made some new friends, and I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what's so important about when you go to these things. You meet new people in your industry, and you learn new things, and that's what's really important. We don't go to WPPI to go party on the strip. That's just the benefit of being there. We go to WPPI to learn and be better at our craft and to be able to better serve our customers and our clients. So with that, that's my wrap up of this year's 2024 WPPI. And like a fat kid in dodgeball, I'm out.